Hello, this is Rick Saphire, taking you on a nostalgic trip to my show business past, showing you some of the wonderful celebrities that I worked with throughout the years. Now, this is Valerie Benson. She wasn't a celebrity, but she sure was pretty, and she still is. Valerie was my assistant when I was doing my comedy nightclub act. I was a magician and a comedian, and you can see Valerie was surely getting a rise out of being in this levitation act at the Lambs Club in New York City. Here's Billy Daniels. You remember Mr. Old Black Magic himself. What a great performer, great singer, and an all-around great showman, as many of them were. And talk about a great showman. I believe that Bobby Rydell, who appears to be my illegitimate brother here, was the best entertainer to come out of the rock and roll era. And then there's the 1930s and the king of Heidi-Ho. There's Cab Calloway. I believe Cab was the first rap singer. Here's Charlie Callis, the face that launched 1,000 quips. Jerry Lewis gave Charlie Callis his break, and Charlie is still going strong. Dick Shawn was one of the most inventive, creative show business personalities. I won't just call him a comedian because he was an all-around entertainer. Here's a guy that spoke for himself. Well, maybe not. That's Charlie McCarthy and his pal, Edgar Bergen. Georgie Jessel was known as the Toastmaster General of the United States. He knew many of the presidents. He spoke at some of the most important functions. And could Betty Grable really fall in love with a face like that? Well, his face, his talent, that's Harry James. And here is the thief of bad gags. Yes, it's Henny Youngman. Where did I get that jacket? My God, talk about bad. Jackie Mason and I, this appears to be Jackie Mason's bar mitzvah picture. This was taken backstage at Brown's Hotel in the Catskills in 1964. 1965, there I am again at Brown's Hotel with Jerry Lewis. There's a guy that I think I bumped into a few times since that date. The young lady sitting next to me is Little Egypt, the belly dancer. But there's Jack Albertson and Joe Franklin, the famous television talk show host. Famous television talk show host? Here I am with Johnny Carson. I knew Johnny for many years, even before he became host of The Tonight Show. Katherine Grayson. What a terrific singer of songs. She was in that classic motion picture Showboat. And she still performs, and she's still wonderful. Alan King was probably the consummate stand-up comedian. Alan King was among the best. Now, Kreskin is one of the best mind readers who ever walked the face of the earth. And he knows what you're thinking, so be careful. Here's Liberace, a showman personified. His candelabra, his piano, his outfits, his incredible talent. And talk about talent. From the big band era, right up through the decade of the 2000s, Lionel Hampton. Marilyn Michaels, well, she left a good impression on her audience. As a matter of fact, she still does, one of the top female impressionists. Mel Torme never liked being introduced as the Velvet Fog, but he was. What a smooth voice and a smooth style. There's Nelson A. Rockefeller, Vice President of the United States, and one of the wealthiest men. You'll notice he stole my watch when we were taking this picture. Nipsey Russell taught me that to be a successful comedian, you've got to get a laugh within 10 seconds after you walk on the stage. And his audiences laughed right through his performance, as they always do when they see the wonderful Norm Crosby. He gets all the words wrong, but he gets all the laughs just right. Phil Foster, a great stand-up comedian. You remember him as Papa DeFazio on Laverne and Shirley. This is a few years before Laverne and Shirley. And there's me. I look like I'm ready to go on stage, and I look a little bit like George Burns, don't I? Hey, there's Red Buttons. Red Buttons started in the Catskill Mountains, and this picture was taken at Brown's Hotel in the Catskills. Red started in the mountains as a bellhop. I don't know if Rip Taylor was ever a bellhop because he'd be throwing confetti in everybody's luggage. Soupy Sales, one of my longest friends and associates in the world of show business. He was my hero as a kid, and I'm thrilled to represent him. And what better place for a comedian to be than surrounded by Larry, Moe, and Curly Joe? Totie Fields, well, what more can we say about Totie Fields? She was the most dynamic female comedian and entertainer. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our little trip to the past. This is yours truly, Rick Saphire, sometimes known as Ricky, and I hope to see you again real soon.